This is Rabbi Yoseph Vigler. Today we're going to take a look at a clip by Andrew Huberman. He's a neuroscientist who has popularized the conversation about health, mindset, and optimal human performance. In this clip, he speaks about prayer, how to pray, and how to have faith in God.
I have a morning meditation that I do. Well, I wake up now, I get my sunlight, I hydrate, I use the bathroom, I do all the things that I talk about. I've started a practice of prayer in the last year, which is new-ish for me, which is, we could talk about
in the morning.
Yeah.
Can you talk about it a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. And then I have a meditation that I do that actually is where I think through what the different roles that I play.
Mm-hmm.
He's discovered something very powerful, that when you wake up in the morning, it's almost critical to meditate and to turn and connect to God, because you got to rev up the wheels. We have this machine that's called me, and I'm about to have a day, and my day is me interacting with the world. Before you interact with the world, the halacha is, the law is, that you're not allowed to even eat before you daven, before you turn to God. Because if you interact with food and with the physical world before you interact with God, you're going to fall. First, turn up, connect, hoist yourself up, bind yourself to divine energy, and then you're ready for the day.
So I start very basic. I say, okay, I'm an animal. Like we are like biologically animals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Human, I'm a man, I'm a scientist, I'm a teacher, I'm a friend, I'm a brother, I'm a son. I go through this, I have this list and I think about the different roles that I have and the roles that I still want in my life going forward.
Very powerful. He's becoming aware of his own self from outside in. He's looking at the different characters that represent himself from outside in, understanding who he is and what he's about, and being mindful of it.
Forward, that I haven't yet fulfilled. It just takes me, it's sort of an inventory of where I've been, where I'm at, and where I'm going, as they say. And I don't know why I do it, but I started doing it this last year. I think because it helps me understand just how many different contexts I have to exist in and remind.
It's a Mishnah. The Mishnah says, Da me'ayin basa ule'on ata hoylech v'lifnei mi ata osid lipenim b'cheshbon. Know where do you come from, where you're going, and before whom you're going to have to give judgment. So you need to be aware of yourself, because otherwise you just go through life and life just happens, and before you know it, it's done. Every day requires mindfulness. That's prayer in the morning, first thing in the morning.
Remind myself that there's still more that I haven't done that I'm excited about.
So within each of those contexts, there's like things that you want to kind of accomplish to define that.
Yeah, and I'm ambitious, so I think, I'm a brother. I have an older sister, and I love her tremendously. And I think I want to be the best brother I can be to her, which means maybe a call, maybe just, we do an annual trip together for our birthdays. Our birthdays are close together. We always go to New York for our birthdays. We've gone for the last 3-4 years. Like really like reminding myself of that role, not because I'll forget, but because I have all these other roles I'll get pulled into. Mm-hmm. I say the first one, I'm an animal because I have to remember that I have a body that needs care. Like any of us, I need sleep, I need food, I need hydration. I need that I'm human, that the brain of a human is marvelously complex, but also marvelously self-defeating at times. And so I've been thinking about these things in the context of the different roles. And the whole thing takes about 4 or 5 minutes. And I just find it brings me a certain amount of clarity that then allows me to ratchet into the day.
There's something very powerful about this noticing things and acknowledging things. Sometimes, let's say, when you get anxious during the day and you say, I am anxious, and you start to identify yourself with that anxiety, then it becomes part of who you are. But when you get used to this practice of separating yourself from the experiences that are happening to you, noticing them, then you'll be able to say during the day, I'm not anxious. I feel anxiety. Add that one word, I feel anxiety. I am I. There is a deeper I, a deeper sense of self. And there's an external anxiety, and that's not who I am defined by. So by waking up in the morning and connecting to God, he's able to see himself from outside in, and then the experiences are not those, they don't define me. They just happen to me. And so I'm able to act in real time from a different space.
The prayer piece, I think I've been reluctant to talk about until now. because I don't believe in pushing religion on people, and I think that, and I'm not. It's a highly individual thing, and I do believe that one can be an atheist and still pray, or agnostic and still pray. But for me, it really came about through understanding that there are certain aspects of myself that I just couldn't resolve on my own. And no matter how much therapy, no matter how much, and I haven't done a lot of it, but no matter how much plant medicine or other forms of medicine or exercise or podcasting or science or friendship or any of that, I was just not going to resolve. And so I started this because someone close to me said, a male friend said, prayer is powerful. And I said, well, how? And he said, I don't know how, but if you can it can allow you to get outside yourself, let you give up control and at the same time take control. I don't even like.
Just to make an observation over here, a prisoner can never release himself from prison. If you're in prison, you cannot get out of it yourself. And so you need someone else to help you out. Life can be very challenging, and you need a higher power to get you out of it. So long as you don't connect to that higher power, you don't believe in something that's outside of your realm, something godly and divine, you're going to be stuck. You're not able to escape yourself. And what he's saying is that he discovered the power of prayer. And when I pray, I escape my own reality. So now I'm able to get out of this prison, this little cocoon that we're stuck in, and be able to see things from a higher perspective. Prayer allows me a relationship with the divine.
Like saying take control, but the whole notion is that, and again, forgive me, but there's no other way to say it. The whole notion is that, like God works through us, whatever God is to you, he, him, her, whatever, life force, nature, whatever it is to you, right? That it works through us. And so I do a prayer. I'll just describe it where I ask, I make an ask to help remove my defects, my character defects. I pray to God to help remove my character defects so that I can show up better in all the roles of my life and do good work, which for me is learning and teaching.
Recognizing that I don't have the power to overcome my defects on my own. Only when I allow a higher power into my life, then and only then can I actually transcend my own defects.
Learning and teaching. And so you might say, well, how is that different than a meditation? Well, I'm acknowledging that there is something that bigger than me, bigger than nature, as I understand it, that I cannot understand or control, nor do I want to. And I'm just giving over to that. Mm-hmm. And does that make me less of a scientist? I sure as hell hope not. I certainly know there's the head of our neurosciences at Stanford until recently. You should talk to him directly about it. Bill Newsom has talked about his religious life. For me, it's really a way of getting outside myself and then understanding how I fit into this bigger picture. And the character defects part is real, right? I'm a human. I have defects. Like I got a lot of flaws in me, like anybody, but and trying to acknowledge them and asking for help in removing them, not magically, but through right action.
So he's noticing the defects. He's noticing that he's human, and I don't have the power without God to overcome them. And so prayer is introducing to him something higher, which will allow him to overcome the defects, which I can't do on my own.
Through my right action. So I do that every morning. And I have to say that it's helped. It's helped a lot. It's helped me be better to myself, be better to other people. I still make mistakes. But it's becoming a bigger part of my life. And I never thought I'd talk like this. Mm-hmm. But
just want to point out that when Abraham, our father Abraham, he made the prayer called Shacharis. He's the first one who thought about this, a little before Andrew, about this idea of praying in the morning. And it says about Avram, Avram woke up in the morning and he harnessed his donkey. On a deeper level, what that means is he woke up his sense of self in the morning and he harnessed his chamor. Chamor means chomriyut. The donkey is your materialism. So he realized that, this material body that God gave me and the material things that I have to deal with today need to be harnessed. Because if I'm plugged in to God above, I can be very successful at my day. The trouble is, you ever held a phone and the phone owns you and he's in control, he's telling you what to do and he's beckoning you and you become addicted to him? You want to take control and you need a higher power. You need God to allow you to take control. So when you wake up in the morning and you pray and you connect to God, then you're able to harness the materialism, the chamor. That's what Andrew's doing.
I think it's clear to me that if we don't believe in something, again, doesn't have to be traditional standardized religion, but if we don't believe in something bigger than ourselves, we at some level will self-destruct. I really think so. It's powerful in a way that all the other stuff, meditation, all the tools is not, because it's really operating at a much deeper and bigger level. And I think that's all I can talk about it. Mostly because I'm still working out. The scientist in me wants to understand how it works, and I want to understand. And the point is to just go, there's for lack of a better language for it, there's higher power than me and what I can control. I'm giving up control on certain things, and somehow that restores a sense of agency for right action, better action.
He's worried about the scientist in me, he says. Like, how do I, as a scientist, allow myself to even speak about a higher power? Like, what am I even talking about, a higher power? But I do, because I realize that the scientist in me realizes he's got to cede control. The problem is, at the end of the day, Andrew is not actually ceding control. The reason is because he understands it. It's like we call it the God of our understanding. He keeps on apologizing that he even believes in God. Here's the reality. It's all in his mind. So my mind is allowing myself to let go. Let's say you decide one day, I'm going to take a sabbatical. And 1 year, after 7 years, I'm not going to work. I'm going to go and I'm going to let go. Or once a week, I'm not using my phone. If you do that, and then you desperately need your phone, something urgent, or in that sabbatical, you need to go do some work, you're going to succumb. Because at the end of the day, you decided in your understanding that you need to do this. How about a marriage? You're married, you decide, you know what? We can't be physical with each other and intimate all the time. So let's make it that 2 weeks a month, we don't touch each other. But then, during those 2 weeks, you have a tremendous desire to be physically intimate. So now you say, listen, I know we made a plan, but can we do it anyway? Judaism is about truly succumbing to God, letting go. That means once a week there's something called Shabbos. What does Shabbat mean? I let go. That means you're not allowed to use the phone because God said so. Every 7 years there's a sabbatical where the land is not allowed to be touched. And every 2 weeks in a marriage, there's an off time. And God said you can't touch. So when one spouse says, I really want to be intimate, the other one says, I do too. But God said we're not allowed to. On Sabbath, I want to use my phone, but God said we're not allowed to. Jewish prayer goes like this. The first word of Jewish prayer every morning is Moide ani lefanecha. The word moide has a double meaning. It can mean I thank you, God. It can also mean I acknowledge. I'm moide to you. I acknowledge. What's the acknowledge? I acknowledge that I'm the physical being. I know deep down that God is the true reality. I get that I was born, I don't know where I came from. I get that one day there's death and I don't know where we go. I get that even while it's happening over here, God is the true reality. And we said numerous times during the course of our prayers, Modim anachnu loch. We acknowledge you. I acknowledge that God's way of thinking is the true way. Now, what is the Torah? Torah is a recognition of letting go of myself. It is not the God of our understanding. It's God as he is. It may be very moral to say that, when you help an old lady across the street, that's a holy act. It is. It's very nice. The trouble is that you actually understand why it's a moral act. When the Jew puts on tefillin on his head and on his arm, putting on tefillin, It's a physical act. And then he looks at himself and he says, what am I doing with black boxes on me? Why am I doing this? And he comes to a realization that I'm not doing it because of myself. I'm doing it because God gave Torah and mitzvahs. And when God gave me these commandments to perform, and God gave me his Torah, through my getting involved in them, I am becoming a divine being. When I truly let go, and I truly let God into my life, that's when I get the ability to overcome all the difficulties and challenges of the day. And so Andrew is absolutely correct, except that a Jew goes a step higher. He truly lets go. He realizes, I have a soul. It's a divine soul. It's a part of God. God is the true reality. And even if I don't feel that, I want to accept that so that I can perform Torah and mitzvahs. And then I'm truly out of this prison. And when you truly get out of prison for that moment, then the rest of the day can flow from a better place because I'm no longer a prisoner. I allowed God into my life.